The female driver was shocked to discover that the route she could normally drive out in 20 minutes still had not gotten her out after driving for an hour today. The passengers also sensed something was wrong. They had already seen the tree by the roadside 6 times. Cold sweat broke out across the female driver's back in an instant, and she concluded that someone among the passengers who had just boarded had broken the rules. It turned out that the woman was the city's only night shift bus driver. This night bus route had been driven continuously for 30 years by her grandfather. This year, her grandfather passed away, and the woman was officially on duty for the first time, driving this bus alone. Before he died, her grandfather tightly held her hand and laid down 3 rules that had to be followed. First, pregnant women were absolutely not allowed to board. Second, the bus had to depart precisely at 11 p.m. every night. Third, the bus could not stop halfway for anyone to get off. Her grandfather repeatedly stressed that pregnant women could not get on the bus, and kept emphasizing that once these 3 rules were broken, everyone on board would die. The woman agreed through tears, and firmly engraved her grandfather's last words in her heart. As night approached 11 o'clock, the woman drove the bus to the stop, ready to depart on time. Before boarding, she clearly announced the rules on the bus, making it clear that pregnant women were forbidden to ride, and that the bus would not make any stops along the way. Those words sparked dissatisfaction among the passengers. A young man criticized her for not only discriminating against pregnant women, but also openly hanging such a sign on the bus. He said behavior like that was truly shameless. The woman explained that this rule had been passed down for 30 years, and that her grandfather had upheld it for half his life. Since she had taken over this job, she had to the rules. If the passengers could not accept that, they could choose not to ride this bus. The young man threatened to file a complaint against her at the bus station, but at night, this was the only bus in service. Although everyone was unhappy, they had no choice but to ride it. Someone objected that pregnant women had the right to ride the bus, and that the driver's rule was neither reasonable nor lawful. But seeing the sign on the bus that said pregnant women were not allowed to board, the office lady still felt a bit uneasy. Soon, the passengers boarded amid a wave of doubt. After getting on, the woman once again emphasized the rule that pregnant women could not board, and that there would be no stopping or getting off midway. No one took what she said seriously. The old woman could not stand the female driver's rambling, and said that her daughter-in-law had a flight early tomorrow morning, urging the driver to get moving immediately. The others also grew impatient with the woman. Under everyone's urging, the woman started the bus. The college student was somewhat worried. Trembling, she asked, what would happen if there really were a pregnant woman on board? The woman said that once the rule was broken, they would regret it too late. But the young man said she was just trying to scare everyone. The old woman said she was shirking responsibility for driving. Even if a pregnant woman got on, nothing would happen. The woman stepped on the brake. She said that if a pregnant woman got on the bus, everyone would die. Those words made the passengers panic. The office worker objected that what the woman was saying had no scientific basis. The woman stated once again that this was what her grandfather had learned through 30 years of experience. Seeing how seriously she was speaking, the old woman's daughter-in-law got scared. She sat on her husband's lap and asked whether it was really true. The man comforted her and told her not to be afraid, thinking the woman was just making a mountain out of a molehill. Besides, she was not pregnant anyway. The woman did not care whether they believed her or not, and said these 3 rules were tested with lives. Just as they were approaching a silent stretch of woods, the woman asked one last time whether there was any pregnant woman on the bus. The office worker nervously touched her stomach, but did not answer. The young man accused the woman of being too talkative. The passengers on the bus also urged her to drive faster. The woman said nothing more, shifted gears, and drove the bus into the forest. 10 minutes later, everyone was still safe and sound, and they all accused the woman of trying to scare them. The old woman said the female driver simply had poor driving skills, and was afraid something would happen if a pregnant woman got on. She could not bear that responsibility, so she would not allow pregnant women to board. The woman explained that she had already warned them many times. Now that the bus had entered the woods, it was too late for them to regret it. After hearing that, the old woman became very angry. After all, she was someone who had seen the world. She did not believe in such superstitious talk. Just when everyone thought nothing was wrong, something eerie happened. Based on the usual driving experience, this road should have been out of the forest in just 20 minutes. But today, after the bus had been driving for half an hour, it was still circling in the pitch-black woods. There was still no sign of the tunnel leading to the destination, and no sign that it had left the forest at all. One of the passengers rode this bus often, and he pointed out that the route was wrong. The crowd immediately burst into commotion. The old woman angrily accused the woman of deliberately taking the wrong road and driving in circles, delaying her daughter-in-law's early flight tomorrow morning. The young man also felt something was off. He was horrified to discover that the bus kept passing the same place over and over again. The same trees had already appeared 6 times. It was clearly trapped in an inescapable loop. An inexplicable fear spread through the entire bus. The college student fearfully asked whether they had run into a ghost. The old woman angrily scolded her, saying that as a college student, she should not be believing in feudal superstition. As soon as she finished speaking, the lights inside the bus started flickering. Then a piece of paper money stuck to the young man's face. The lights inside the bus suddenly went out, and everyone was seized by overwhelming panic. At the same time, blood began dripping from the Buddha amulet in front of the female driver. Then, that strange tree suddenly blocked the road. The woman instantly understood that someone had broken the rules. She angrily questioned the passengers. "Which one of you is pregnant?"